With the war in Gaza seemingly over, will the avalanche of anti-Semitism in America and around the world finally begin to decline? No, says IDF Reserve Captain Yair Pinto. The anti-Semitism will continue to rage, and he's going to tell us why from an Israeli perspective. As we move forward into the post-peace period, there are talks today about the Abraham Accords expanding. There's talks going on with Saudi Arabia right now and other Arab countries. The explosion of anti-Semitism around the world over the last 2 years has been focused on the fact that there's a genocide in Gaza, there's starvation in Gaza, that the Israelis are annihilating and wiping out the Gazans, even though the population of Gaza seems to go up every month. And even the UN finally said, okay, there's no famine, there's enough food for 6 months. Do you believe, now that the war is basically over, that the avalanche of anti-Semitism around the world, in the US, in the UK, and Australia, will now start to drop down as the war gets less in people's mind?
Well, no, I think that the fast answer is no, I do not think. I think that these places will find a different excuse to launch anti-Semitic attacks against Jews that staying and residing in these countries. And I think that the world that shouted, free Palestine every day in every campus, on every TV screen, should not stop shouting this because the IDF moved out. Because at the moment, the Palestinians are suffering even more because Hamas is just executing them in the streets. Where are all these protesters that shouted free Gaza, free Palestinians, all these human rights activists? I didn't hear them. Nobody is pointing the finger at the terrorist organization. So this is a spiritual war, and I don't think that spiritual wars just end when a ceasefire comes. So I think that the attack against the Jewish people, against the people of Israel, and in general against God's will continue, just from a different angle. And we need to be vigilant, we need to be strong, and we need to be united in sharing the truth and in praying. But all in all, I think that they will just find a different way to carry out more attacks against Jews on countries outside of Israel, because they realize that Israel is here to stay, and we've proven it in the battlefield.